The 1997 Ryder Cup became the first played in continental Europe in Sotogrande, Spain at Valderrama Golf Club. Tom Kite captained the American squad, while appropriately, Seve Ballesteros would captain the defending cup holders. The new Spanish king, Jose Maria Olazabal, all square coming to 14. Not for long. He and Costantino Rocca facing Phil Mickelson, Davis Love in the opening four-ball match. Olazabal dialed in all morning long. Mickelson needed to get close at 18. But close wouldn't be good enough. He would let the putt slip by for a half. Olazabal and Rocca win it, one up. Nick Faldo paired with Lee Westwood to the 18th. Fred Couples, who was teamed with Brad Faxon, did him just a little better. Now Faldo for birdie to have the match. Faxon for the victory. He and Fred Couples would win it, one up, and the matches were tied at one. Tom Lehman now from behind the green, paired with Jim Furyk, two down before this bit of brilliance. Lehman paired with Furyk had this birdie at 16. They were facing Jesper Parnevik and Per-Ulrik Johansson, the Swedish duo. Parnevik at 17 to go one up. Parnevik again at 18, this to win the match. And after the first morning of play on Spanish soil, it was all deadlocked, 2 points apiece. The 32nd Ryder Cup in Spain at Valderrama. If there was American support as they went to the first afternoon foursomes, the defending Cup champion Europeans all square with the U.S. This is Rocca from off the 17th green. He and Olazabal facing Lee Janzen and Scott Hoke. The match all square now going to 18, Jansen's approach. Hoke had the putt in the alternate shot format. They win the match over Rocca and Olazabal, one up. Bernhard Langer now running away along with Colin Montgomery to the par 3 15th. He and Monty facing the rookie Tiger Woods and his neighbor Mark O'Meara. And Tiger would put his pal in a pretty bad spot. Montgomery now with the curling three-footer to close out that match with Woods and O'Meara, 5 and 3. And the matches were all tied at 3. With darkness approaching, Nick Faldo to 16. He and Lee Westwood up 2 over British Open champion Justin Leonard and Jeff Magney. It got too dark, and so they returned the next morning. Westwood to win the match and give the Europeans a 4 and 3 advantage. And with that point, Nick Faldo became the all-time leading Ryder Cup scorer with 24 points in his history. Tom Lehman from off the front of the 18th green. He and Mickelson facing Olazabal and Ignacio Garrido. And they finish all square. The Europeans finishing off the first day play, leading by a point. Early in the second day four-ball competition at Valderrama, Americans up 3 of the 4 matches. Colin Montgomery squared his with Darren Clark against Couples and Love at 12. Couples, however, matches Monty at 16 with a birdie of his own. Over the hole. Now Montgomery at 17. And he and Clark beat Couples and Love 1 up. And Europe's lead is now 2 points. Ian Woosnam paired with Thomas Bjorn, the birdie putt at 15. Brad Faxon, who teamed with Justin Leonard, out of the heavy rough. And straight into the water at 17. They would go on to lose 2-1 to Woosnam and Bjorn. Lee Westwood now to the devilish 17th, water in front. Green sloping toward the water. He and Faldo facing Tiger and O'Meara. How devilish is this hole? Watch Tiger's putt at 17. His partner, O'Meara, had one from front left on the same hole. They would go on to lose for the second straight session, this time 2-1, and the European lead is now 7.5 to 3.5. Phil Mickelson now to 18. He and Tom Lehman all square with Olazabal and Garrido. Mickelson with the putt at 18 to win. They finish all square, the only half point of the morning for the Americans, as Europe took an 8-4 lead to lunch. A huge uphill climb faced the Americans in the second day afternoon foursomes at Valderrama, down 8-4 going in, the sun already beginning to set. The only match able to finish on Saturday, Jim Furyk and Lee Janzen lost to Montgomery and Longer, 1 down. Europe goes to bed with a 9-4 lead and a long Sunday awaiting. The next morning, Garrido with the birdie putt at 18. He and Parnevik have with Leonard and Woods, and the United States was down by 5 points going to the singles competition. With an almost insurmountable 5-point lead by the Europeans going to the singles at Valderrama, the U.S. needed some luck and they mounted the early charge. Mark O'Meara for birdie. Fred Couples now. And Lee Janzen. This is Jeff Maggart to the par 3 11th, leading to one of 8 victories on Sunday in the singles for the Americans. But leading by 3 late in the Spanish afternoon, the Europeans needed just a point to retain the cup. Olazabal had the first chance at 17. Longer needed just 2 putts at 17, and though this first one a little bit tentative, it was good enough to keep the Ryder Cup on European soil. He wins 2-1 over Brad Faxon, and Europe takes it 14.5 to 13.5.